Hello everyone, this is Sidewinder for Community Starcraft 2. As you can see from my lovely picture here and this fabulous name up here in the top right hand corner of my screen, I'm going to be bringing you a video that's all about unit micro, and by micro we mean micromanagement. Micro holds a lot of different aspects, and it can definitely be influential in you winning and losing games depending on your situations. So I'm going to show you different little tricks that you can use to improve your micro and basically what micro is all about. So what I'm going to show you is I'm not going to start a game on a normal map just because it would take way too long to set up situations like that. Instead, I'm going to be going into my Create Custom Game. I'm going to be typing in unit into this little search bar here. I'm going to click search, and the results that are going to pull up are going to be a whole bunch of different stuff, and the unit test map is the one that I want. It's going to be made by a nice guy named Super Ferret, and I'm going to go ahead and create a game on there, so I will get that started and I'll join you once I'm in the map. Oakley dokley, so this is the unit testing map, and what you're going to see here is Zerg buildings next to Protoss buildings, next to blue, or rather next to Terran buildings. They're all going to be of the blue control color, so this means that you can control any unit from any race, and you also will be able to control the red team, which also has the exact same buildings out, basically so that you can make opposing forces that will fight each other. You can control both sides, but you're going to basically be using this to test units against one another and see what kind of outcomes you have based upon either your micro or just have them fight each other straight up and see what happens. So I'm going to be setting up the first situation here, which is going to be showing you different commands in your command panel. I will address just a couple of them that are really easy to address, and other ones I will want to set up examples, so I'll just show you this one for right now. We're going to be addressing this little unit command panel down here. This shows up whenever you have a unit selected as opposed to when you have a building selected. So if you select a unit, you'll have commands like move, stop, hold position, patrol, attack. I'm going to show you the reason why all of these are helpful. Starting with the move command. Now you don't really need to worry about clicking on the move command or anything like that, just because you can right click and it will put them on move anyway, and you can also right click on the map instead of just the terrain if you need to right click that way to send a unit somewhere without having to actually go there first. So again, right click is to move, and stop will basically be the idle position. You'll almost never need to press stop for any real reason. The next one I'm going to get into is patrol. Since I don't really need to set up anything to demonstrate that, let me get one more unit out here just to make a little bit of a point here in just a second. Now patrol is going to be if you have, say, a stalker out or some sort of anti-air unit, you're going to put them on patrol if you want to deny an overlord or like a drop coming into your base. This patrol is going to be active and it will fire on units as opposed to just a move command, which will not fire on units. So set your units on patrol if you need to have them walking back and forth between a certain point. Yeah, that's pretty much all you really need to know about patrol. The last one that we're going to take a look at right now is attack. Attack is going to be what you're going to use to actually fire at units. Now, if your units are close enough, they will fire at them. Let me get the stalker in range. As you can see, you go away, stop fighting. But attack can also be used in a few different ways. You can click attack and have it go to anywhere on the map. Like you can click on the terrain and he'll walk there and actually attack stuff on his way to that point. So that's one way to do it, as opposed to just the move command. If you just send them to move there, they'll just walk there and not fire back. So that can potentially have hazardous results. Be very careful about that. Get used to using attack move. And the second thing you can do with attack is actually attack certain targets. Let me get them in range. You can attack certain targets rather than just having them attack whatever they want. So we'll get to that in just a little bit, where we really use those commands in depth. Before I move on, I do want to mention one thing, is that you need to be using your keyboard to give them these commands, because it's so much faster to use your keyboard to attack, move, or patrol, or whatever, than it is to actually go down there and select it and tell them to do different commands. So a couple of options I want you to turn on. I want everyone to turn these on. I don't care what league you're in or what you're doing. I want you to turn on these options. The first option is going to be showing these little letters over the top of your commands. You're going to get there by going into options and going into gameplay and clicking on command hotkey text. If I unclick that, you can see those letters go away. This makes it a lot easier to remember to use your keyboard, because when you're going down to click, you can say, oh, I should just be using E instead of clicking on that button, or I should be using T instead of clicking on that button. But it's also helpful if you're not used to a lot of these layouts, so you can see what key do I need to press in order to get this unit. Well, I need to press W to get a sentry, and I can warp in a sentry, as opposed to W sentry. This might seem a little bit nitpicky, and I did address this in another video, but using these keys is so much faster than using just clicking on this command panel. Your mouse should never touch this command panel under any circumstances, so don't touch your mouse to this command panel. Turn on the overlay and look at these so you can see what keys you need to press on your keyboard, because using two hands is a lot better than using just one. So if you don't already do that, do that. Secondly, you're going to want to go into your hotkeys and set up a hotkey profile that fits you the best. I play on grid, as you can see right here. Grid is going to align your keys in order on your keyboard with the command panel slots that they represent. So I want to find a building that has a lot of options. Okay, this is gateway. So you can see that on these different letters, you can see that these spots are reserved to the space that they appear on your keyboard. So Q is right above A, which is right above Z. This is a lot easier for me to remember this way, since they're all laid out in a logical and organized fashion. I was new to playing Starcraft when I first started, and this is how I got used to using hotkeys, was using this grid. So if you're new to Starcraft and you don't use hotkeys, I recommend that because it's the easiest way to do it. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm going to set up an example, and I'm going to show you why certain commands are useful versus, well, in particular, I'm going to show you why the hold position command is useful. So let me get this set up and I'll be right back. Okay, I have my probe already out of my Nexus. I'm going to show you guys a little bit of walling techniques and why this hold position command can be useful. So what we're going to do here is we're going to throw up a pylon that's going to be on this ramp. We're going to pretend like we have a Nexus back here. I really wish that these warped in a lot sooner. But we're going to pretend like we have a Nexus back here, and that this is where our mining is going on. We're going to move this zealot out of the way so he doesn't get pissed off and come in here and attack this. And our goal here is to protect our mineral line from a big Zergling horde. So we're going to go ahead and make a whole bunch of Zerglings, again, with our hotkeys rather than any clicking on this. So we're going to go ahead and hit E, and all these Zerglings are going to get made. Optimally, you'd want to have rallies on these hatcheries, but whatever. So we're going to go ahead and send all these guys over here. If you didn't notice what I just did there, you can queue up multiple commands. I queued up multiple move commands by holding the shift key. It's another little part of unit micro that might come in handy. So you can set up command queues however you want by holding the shift key and giving whatever command you want. If you want an attack command queue, you can hit T to bring up this little screen, and shift, keep holding shift and just click around, and they will attack in a circle like this and hit anything that they want to on their way there. So that's just to get that out of the way really quickly while it was on my mind. Meanwhile, back here, what we're going to have this probe do is he's going to build a gateway here and a gateway here. Normally you'd have like a cybernetics core there or whatever. So what we're going to have this Nexus do is produce a whole bunch of probes. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, let's pretend that this is your mining base, and this is your ramp in your base. Let's pretend that these buildings are already done. So these probes are like, yay, woo, we're all mining, we're helping our team, but uh-oh, you don't have a zealot out, or rather you do have a zealot, and he's just standing over here. Whoop-de-doo. Now what's going to happen here is these Zerglings are going to say, oh cool, there's an entrance into the base, yay! And they're going to come in here, and they're going to run right past your units, and uh-oh, all your probes are going to be dead here in just a second. So whoops, there's a huge mistake on your part, because you're losing a whole bunch of probes, and whatever, we'll have these probes even attack, so that you can see what kind of matchup fail this is, and you're going to run into this situation a lot if you play Protoss. So yeah, that's what happens if you leave a space in your wall. You will only leave a space in your wall only so that you can let your own units escape. Let's get these stupid Zerglings out of here so they stop bugging us. We're going to create more Zerglings and have them all rally right here. More Zerglings in here, still driving me nuts. But what we're going to see this time is we're going to have a Zealot blocking the wall. So let me go ahead and produce another Zealot. There, he's out, and we're going to put him right here. Now you'd say, cool, this is normally going to hold off that Zergling force. It's going to plug up the hole, but watch this. This is going to be another disaster for this Protoss player. He's going to have all these probes. Yeah, cool. Yay, we're awesome. And these Zerglings are going to run in here, and they're going to say, hi, Zealot, how's it going? And they're going to go, oh, there's a Zealot. Oh, psych. Oh, I made you move out of your place. Doesn't that suck? And all of a sudden your probes are all dead. So that is bad. This is why you want to use the hold position command. You're going to hold position on this Zealot. And let's say that we have a few other units behind this, like we'll say a couple of stalkers here and there, whatever. Normally these Zerglings would just run right past it and get into your mineral line and screw it all up. But if you have this Zealot on hold command, and if we try to bait him down like we did before, they're going to be like, hi Zealot, come get us, come get us. Oh no, wait, the Zealot's just going to stand there. Now these Zerglings have no way in, and if they try to attack, they're going to be like, go get them, guys! And they're going to run in there, and they're all going to get tortured because the Zealot can take a lot of punishment from Zerglings, while your units behind him really shoot them and clean them up. And the worst you're going to do is lose Zealots. I'm going to run these Stalkers in and hold position on them too, just to keep this wall sealed up. And look at that, I lost one Zealot to his entire Zergling army. So that's when you're going to want to use hold position, is when you really need to set up a wall, and it's going to be kind of a temporary wall, because you need to be able to open this up to get your own units out, otherwise you're blocking yourself in. So that is where the hold position command comes into effect very well. There's other situations where you might not want to be baited by the other team's units by them like running up a ramp or something. So let's say that for whatever reason, well, I'll give you a good reason. If you want to sit on top of this ramp, but you know that at the bottom of the ramp they have all these units here, like let's say they have, I don't know, like, let's see, like 5 or 6 stalkers. What you're going to see is they're going to try to bait you down where most of their forces are. So you might not want to fall for that, because what happens is if you run up there with a Zealot and you say, ha, come get me, and then they're like, oh, go get him, let's chase him down. You don't want to engage this, because now you're behind, your army is inferior, and you're going to lose this push. Whereas if you have your units hold and they try to bait you down in that same situation, you're going to come up here, and one unit's going to be like, hey guys, come chase me down, ha ha ha, I'm going to lead you into a trap, and you're going to be like, no, I'm not falling for that. All you have to do is just hit hold position, and they won't chase after. So there's a few different applications as to why hold position is useful. This concludes this basic portion of the not the test, I want to say, but the little tutorial we're running here. Next, I'm going to be pitting unit groups versus unit groups and showing you different elements of micro. So let me reset this and get back to a good starting point.